Hey everyone, welcome back again. So today's Tuesday. What do we have happening today? We had Bitcoin going up a little bit. Miners all went down today, right? So what's going on with the miners today? We'll take a look at also, what do we have news today? We got Hut 8 providing that they are buying a site in West Texas, which has immediate power to 205 megawatts and a PPA there. And then we have Terawulf paying off their debt, 70 some odd million here roughly. So that's great news there. We'll get into the details there. And we'll just take a look at the miners here as far as June productions. The metrics on June productions for them, see which ones came out the top 5 out of that, and then also which ones came out the top 5 for the last 12 months, roughly, based on the data that we have here. Okay, but that is it. So should be a pretty quick and easy day, but as always, you guys know the drill here. Not financial advice, for entertainment only. Please do your own research. My full disclosure to you guys as well. And if you enjoy this type of content, hit the like button, subscribe, helps me out tremendously. But here's Bitcoin right now. So Bitcoin is actually up today. It was up. What was it up? 2.38%, right? And then if we look at the miners were all down today. So we closed above our support here, 57,000, I think it's 500 roughly, that's our support line here. We closed above it. We are down a little bit here right now. We're down, what, 0.5% roughly. We're trading at 57,740-ish right there. And we'll see where Bitcoin goes, right? I think we might be going back up. We'll see if that happens. The RSI looks... I guess you could say it looks, I don't know, on the daily it doesn't look too appealing to me. It's at 38 right now. Last time we were at 38. Price was higher at that point. If we look at the 1 hour chart as well, RSI right now is at 54. Last time going back a ways, we were at 54 here. Price was a little bit lower than where we are right now. So maybe we are still having a continuation of a reversal here happening, but it's going to take a while for that to be shown in the daily. So we'll see. Now, the miners. I mean, the miners were all down today. A lot of them were down quite a bit. Some were down even more. Who do we have down? That was down quite a bit here. We had BitTBT was down 9.74%, right? Bitfarms was down almost 7% as well. Cleanspark, I think, did the best today. It was only down 1.3%. Then we had CORZ down being 7.7%. Hut was down 8.3%. IREN was down quite a bit, 12.37%. Then we had Mawson being down 7% as well. Stronghold being 6.2%. Wolf down 8%, which I think I would have thought that the news that they paid off the debt would have been a good sign there, but it didn't work out that way for them. So we'll see what the miners do, right? And I think it might be just a weird case right now that we're in, where before, remember last week and the week prior, the miners were actually like front-running Bitcoin price, right? Miners were going in the green while Bitcoin's going in the red, and now we have a reversal of that happening here, which is kind of strange, but it does happen from time to time. Nothing to really panic. I think maybe there's some profit taking happening here as well on some of the miners that have gone up really well, like IREN and Wolf as well. So I think just be patient, right? We're still very early in this stage here, but that's it for the miners and Bitcoin. Let's take a look at what's going on here with the stories that we do have here. So the first one is going to be on Hut 8. They executed definitive agreements for site in West Texas with 205 megawatts of immediately available power capacity. So that's great news there. And here's the details that we do have here on it. So today they announced it has entered into a power purchase agreement, PPA, and other definitive agreements for a site in West Texas with exclusive access to 205 megawatts of immediately available power capacity and land. So this is great news there, right? We'll see what they use this site for. I'm guessing it's probably going to be maybe a combination of HPC, AI, and maybe some Bitcoin mining there. But we'll see what they do. They didn't really provide too much information on it. And then here's a quote from Asher Ganut. This is the first time a large data center load has been approved under the complex regulatory framework to this particular market. Texas, maybe he's forgetting that we had Riot with a 1 gigawatt facility that got approved, and we had also IREN in there. So I don't know if it's the first time in Texas, maybe in that specific region of Texas, maybe, but in Texas in general, I mean, you got, like I said, Riot 1 gigawatt that got approved. IREN also has a huge site there as well. I can't remember the exact number, whether it's 600 megawatts there or 800. I can't remember that. So, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't really boast about that. And then down here, the PPN site, which is adjacent to a wind farm and connected to the ERCOT grid, give Hut 8 access to some of the lowest local national wholesale power pricing in North America. The site, having an existing operational substation and engineering, procurement, and construction efforts for a new data center are underway. The site is well positioned to support a variety of high-density compute applications, including Bitcoin mining and AI. Hut 8 is finalizing a commercialization plan for the site with the aim of maximizing its value. All right, so that's good news there. They didn't provide how much they paid for it, though, which I was surprised. But it would have been nice to see how much they paid per kilowatt, basically, or a megawatt on that site there. And maybe we'll get the details when they do finalize the closing on it, right? So they state here, upon closing, subject to satisfactory of customary conditions, this transaction is expected to expand Hut 8's energy infrastructure platform yet. So this is good news, right? The better news would have been, we got 205 megawatts. We're going to be putting in, X amount of hash rate in there, or are they going to be doing also like hosting in there? They could do that too, because they do that as well. But I would like to see them get more hash rate in there as well, and maybe HPC side of the business as well. But maybe we'll get some more details later on here. Okay. So that's it on Hut 8 here. Let's take a look at Terawulf. Terawulf announced his early debt payoff, which is nice, right? They had about 77 million left to pay off after Q1, right? Which they paid off another, I think they were supposed to pay off like another 20-some million here in Q2, which they were talking about. I think that would bring them down to 50, but they paid off the whole 70-some million here. So this is good news. But my guess is on this that they use dilution, right? The ATM possibly to pay this off, because I read the numbers really quick for what they had in cash, what they were generating in revenue and things like that. I just didn't see that as a possibility. Maybe it was a portion of cash that they had, operational cash, and some dilution as well. But it would have been nice if they provided that in there, how many shares they diluted to pay this off. But here's what we have. The final payment totaling 77.5 million, which includes prepayment fees and accrued interest, underscores Terawulf's commitment to financial prudence and resiliency. After paying off the term loan, the company has no outstanding debt and has thereby maximized financial flexibility to scale and deploy its valuable and low-cost energy infrastructure for Bitcoin mining and high-performance computing, HPC applications, right? So this is all good. But if you guys recall, also, Terawulf has been for a long time talking about how they're not going to dilute shareholders to pay off the debt, that they're in a fine cash position and cash flow, everything was excellent. They're going to be able to pay that off. And I said this before, I think them using the ATM, diluting shares to pay off the debt, get that off, especially before the halving event, would have been a good thing. They did do it now, which I think is still a great thing, but I wish they would have included in there how much they diluted, right? I think that would have been nice to see on that. And then basically, when were they diluting, right? Because the stock has run up here quite nicely. So have they been diluting here recently, or when the stock was at a lower price at that point? But maybe we'll find out that information here. But that's it. Let me see here. Prager concluded this year, we plan to expand our operational infrastructure capacity from 210 megawatts to 295 megawatts, with the ability to further increase our capacity by an additional 300 megawatts in the near term. So that's all great there. Given our significant infrastructure capacity to deploy, we believe that paying off our debt early and eliminating any associated growth constraints is the best interest of the shareholders. Yeah, I agree. Right. Based on my math that I did, looking at what their revenue has been here recently, they would have had a hard time, especially after the halving event, to pay off that debt by the end of the year. So that's why I'm saying I believe they used dilution there as well. Not sure how much. Might have been a portion of it, and a portion of it in cash as well. And we'll probably find that out well, since they reported this now in what are we in now? We're in Q2. No, we're in Q3 right now. So we'll maybe find that out in Q3 results, which will be out sometime in November probably at that time. Okay. But that is it on Terawulf. I think this is great news. Like I said, I've been saying that they should have paid the debt off faster, but they did it anyways now here. So that's good news. That that takes that whole concern there with the debt out of the way. And I think the good things are going to come for Terawulf here. Okay. So that's it. Let's take a look at the numbers for the miners here, as far as on the monthly, how the miners performed, which ones are the best performing here based on a couple metrics that we look at. And where did it go here? Weekly, shorted, 12 months. I want to go to monthly. Too many spreadsheets. There it is. Monthly. Okay. So June 2024, top 5 Bitcoin miners operations. For operations, we look at month-over-month hash rate growth, BTC percentage sold, Bitcoins per exahash, month-over-month BTC mined percentage, BTC mined, days mined, current hash rate, HODL, right? And these are all the things that I track. And some of these stuff is estimated, best guess estimates based on what they reported on operations, hash rate, how many Bitcoin they mined, all that stuff, right? So going down here to the first charts here, we can see here that, what do we got here? Month-over-month percentage hash rate growth, higher is better. So we had Riot with the best growth here, 49.19%, followed by Bitfarms with 38.73%. And then we got Cleanspark with 13.5%, and then we got Terawulf with 10% growth, right? And I should have had that in order here. Why isn't that stuff not in order? Let's go back down here to my numbers. Bear with me. That's your score. I mean, yeah, it's all scored. Oh, well, I forgot to do this. Let me see. We want to sort this descending. All right. So I made a mistake there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9, 9, 9, 10. Okay. All right. Going back up here. So here's what we got. Riot, Bitfarms, Cleanspark, and Terawulf, Bitdeer had the best. And then we had Hut, Marathon, and then Iris, Cypher, Hive, and BitDigital were flat. Core was actually down 4.9% on their hash rate. Okay. Current hash rate here. We had Marathon, the largest, with 31.5 exahash. Riot with 22 now. Cleanspark at 20.4. Core at 19.4. Bitfarms at 10.4. There's the top 5 right there. Going down here to BTC per exahash efficiency. Higher is better. Bitdeer. Okay, Bitdeer is an interesting one. Bitdeer also has their, they do the self-mining, which I included in here. But I think they're also including the, what do they call it? It's not the hosting. It's cloud hash rate or something like that. Cloud hosting, cloud something, cloud hash. Can't remember what they call it. I think they're including the BTC that they get from that as well into this because I'm getting just off numbers on that. And I'm getting off numbers also for when it comes to the days being mined here. So I think that's being included in there. So that one might be a little bit lower, but we'll give them the benefit of the doubt here. It's at 24.52. Hive came in number 2 at 23. Iris number 3. BitDigital number 4. Core at number 5 spot. Those are the top 5 for BTC per access efficiency. But like I said, with Bitdeer, that one is kind of off there, so we could include even Cleanspark here in the top 5, depending on where Bitdeer would have fell in if it wasn't for their cloud hash that they're using as well. Okay. Month over month BTC mined here. Bitfarms came in at number 1 spot, 21% more, followed by Riot, Hut 8, Cleanspark at number 4 spot, and then Cypher at number 3 spot. And then some of these companies here were up just a little bit. Hive was flat on the month. BitDigital was actually down along with Bitdeer, Marathon, Core, and Terawulf were down for BTC production month over month. When we look at BTC mined here, Marathon came in number 1 with 551. This is just for self-mining based on what they report in the Mara pool. Cleanspark at 445, number 2 spot. Core number 3 with 430. Riot at number 4 spot with 255. And Iris at 233. And the number 5 spot. Okay, and then how's everybody else played out that way? Days mined here. BitDigital came in number 1 with 29.3 days, followed by Cleanspark at 29. Iris at 28.75. Hive number 4 spot with 27.87. And then followed by Core with 26.16 days mined. Okay. HODL. If we look at HODL for all of the miners here, Marathon, number 1, 18.5 thousand. Riot at 9.3 thousand. Hut with 9.1 thousand. Cleanspark with almost 6. And then we got Hive at number 5 spot here with 2,496. Okay. And then BTC sold, who sold the least, gets a better score. Marathon actually purchased some Bitcoin here in the month, so they actually had a negative number. So they were number 1, followed by Cleanspark. They only sold 1.8%. Riot sold 2%. Cypher sold 60%. Bitfarms 70.9%. So those are the top 5 there. And then BitDigital sold actually more than they mined, and I think that's just mainly because of their plans to do the HPC AI business stuff going forward with the expanded contract that they have with the current customer. So they're using that capital there to fund that growth. Okay, that's it for it all. Going down here, scores based on the metrics here. So we need to update this as well because we got an updated metrics here on that, and the other one too as well. Let me see here. Where is it at? Where's my numbers? Sorry. BTC mine, that's the score. Okay, down here. So I got numbers all over the place. Total, let's update this really quick. So we want to do that descending. And we want to do this as well, descending here. Not descending, ascending. Sorry. I'm going to go from best to last. Ascending. And ascending here as well. Okay. So going up here. So this is the score based on the 8 metrics, right, which includes everything there. We got Cleanspark coming in number 1 spot with 26 score. Riot with number 2 spot with 38 score. So they've definitely improved here. Bitfarms is number 3 spot with 41. Marathon with 42. And Iris with 48, number 5 spot. So those are the top 5 miners here in June, okay, based on all those scores. Now when we take out HODL and hash rate, we just simply look at operational efficiencies and things like that. For this scores, we got Cleanspark coming in number 1 with 19 points, Bitfarms in number 2 spot with 29, Iris number 3 spot with 33, Riot number 4 spot with 34, and then we got Hive and BitDeer kind of tied for the 5th spot here with 38. Okay, and let's see here. Here is the individual miners, how they performed on each other's stuff here. So you can see Cleanspark is pretty consistent down towards the bottom, right? Meaning that they score better on it. If you're in a top position, you get 1 point. If you're in the last position, you get like 12 points. So the lower the score, the better. BTC per access efficiency was kind of in the middle there on average, it looks like, for them. And then Riot, pretty good on a lot of things here. Just the BTC per access efficiency and days mined, right? That hurt them. Bitfarms, kind of average across the board. Really good on month-over-month BTC mine percentage. Month-over-month hash rate increase as well. And then they were kind of on the low-end side of BTC per access efficiency. Marathon here, really good on a lot of these here, right? But then when it comes to operations, month-over-month hash rate growth, BTC per access efficiency, month-over-month BTC mined, days mined, right? Not scoring too good there. Iris, also pretty average across the board, except they don't hodl anything, right? BTC sold, they sell everything there. So we take out the BTC hodl and the hash rate, current hash rate, they do a pretty well job there. Hive, you can see how they stacked up as well across the board. BitDeer, Core, Cypher, Hot 8, Bit Digital, and Terawulf, right? And then when we look at the actual 12-month running average here, we can see that Cleanspark still came in at number 1 here, followed by Marathon, followed by Hive, Core, and Bitfarms. So those are the top 5 over the last 12 months here on average. They've racked up here. And then for the 12 months, 6 metrics, not including hodl and hash rate, yeah, it's still Cleanspark, IREN now, Hive, Core, Bit Digital as the top 5 there on those metrics. Okay, so that is it for it all. Excuse me. Yeah, I think we'll call it a day. So it's kind of interesting to see that Cleanspark is still kind of leading the pack here quite notably by the numbers or the score based on average for them. And they have done a really fantastic job, but we are seeing some other miners improving their scores as time goes on as well. So that's good to see. All right, so that's it for that. My little sales pitch is always here. Patreon members get access to all these spreadsheets, all these graphs, all these charts, all these metrics and everything else. Description for that is down in the description. Link is down in the description for that. $8 a month, and if you pay the annual subscription, it's 10% off on that. So that's my sales pitch. Thank you so much. And let's get into your guys' Q&A side here thing before my voice goes out. I don't know why. I'm getting a raspy voice here. We'll see what happens. Okay. Let's see if you guys have any questions here. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Let's see, what miners are making a loss right now mining at this Bitcoin price? It depends on the miner and what are their costs associated, right? A lot of the miners are still going to be profitable if you just include electricity costs, but if you start including SG&A, things like that, other expenses, then it gets a little bit more tricky. But we do have a lot of miners that are profitable at like 45, 46,000. Some of them are up in the 50s, and we do have some that are above that as well. But we'll have to see what they provide us with numbers for Q2 figures to really know what's going on there. Let's see. Okay. Do you expect CORZ to hodl after the warrants exercise? Yeah, I think Adam said that they would. They're open to it, right? And I think they would possibly hodl. We'll see. Do you think the miners' run is over for now, or do you think this is just a short setback before the run continues? I think it's just a small setback. I don't think this is anything to panic over. I look at these things as buying opportunities if you have the cash to do it on some of these things that you believe in or have high conviction in. That's the way I kind of look at it. We're still early in the cycle, I think. Question, if you had to invest today, which one would you pick, Bitfarms or Cypher? I would pick right now Bitfarms. I think Bitfarms is more undervalued than Cypher is right now. Let's see. Have talk about if Bitcoin has set the lows, which notice many looks to be in a correction. Yeah, we're had a correction and we're kind of trading sideways right now on Bitcoin a little bit here. We'll see where it goes. I'm thinking if it goes any lower, it's going to be like 51,000. I don't expect it to go much lower than that. And then after that, we should be going back up. Let's see. Ryan asks, can you talk about Ben's background and experience over the past 5 years? Yeah, I mean, we covered it in yesterday's video, but Ben has been around for a while. He has what does he have? A master's in science degree in business, I believe it is, or it's the other way around. And he has a bachelor's degree in science and internet computing. So he's got experience there. He's been with Bitfarms for the past 5 years. Prior to that, he was also operating a mining farm in China, right? For a while there. He was with other companies as well. So he's got plenty of experience there, I think. When will you buy heavy on Riot? I don't know if I will. Right? It's depending on where I see my capital having the best impact possibly. I could be wrong on this, right? Riot could outperform everybody here going forward if they fix their operations. But I don't see me buying heavily into Riot, at least not right now. See, after the next couple of Bitcoin halvings, there will be so little Bitcoin coming out of the machines. What scenario keeps the miners profitable? Bitcoin price going up, right? Everybody's talking about Bitcoin going to 1 million, by maybe 2030 or something like that. So that would keep them up. Also, transaction fees maybe increasing over time as well. Hi, Seb. IREN in your buy zone yet with 10% drop? If not, then what price? Don't see it going down to $10 because of the whales. Thanks. I mean, I would buy the dips. If you're already in it, maybe buy the dips. I bought it at a much lower cost, under 10. I bought it like $6, $7. I was buying it at a much lower price too, at like $3, $4 as well. But not as many shares at that point. So let me see. I think if it gets down to like maybe 12 even, it would be probably a good entry point at that point. You still could get at least, I'm thinking maybe a 5 to 7x on it, depending where Bitcoin goes, but that's kind of where I would look at it. Hey Seb, would you rather put 20,000 into BitDigital or ETH? I personally think BitDigital is pretty much an ETH in HPC play rather than BTC miner. I mean, yeah, right now they're making more money on HPC side of things, right? But would I put 20,000 in BitDigital or ETH? I think I would put it probably on BitDigital, I think. Even if ETH, I mean, ETH could go up 5x, something like that, but I think BitDigital will do the same thing, if not maybe even a little bit better, right? Let's see. Do you ever mess around buying call options on the miners? No, I have not yet. But I'm looking to it. I'm looking to maybe, what is it called? Sell puts on the stocks that I do them just a little bit, see how that works out. Not much, just to kind of play around with it and learn on it. Question, will the tranche 2 warrants drop CORZ share price more? They are on day 18 of 20 for being above the average price needed to execute. I think that's kind of priced in right now. It shouldn't drop their price, but I think once that executes, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but then the shares outstanding will increase, which then will give them an increased market cap. But I don't know if the shares will actually drop at that point. Hey Sebastian, I hope you had a great day. I did, thank you. I hope you did too. I love to see Ben as CEO. The news made me start adding a lot more to my position. Lucky to have dry powder. What is your optimistic 6 months target for Bitfarms? Depends on where Bitcoin goes, right? It's always based on that. Also based on how well they execute, and also do we get rid of Riot, hostile takeover? I think that is now what's kind of the next thing that we have to get past. So I still think if Bitcoin goes to like 100, 120,000, right? That'd be a 100% increase from where we are right now, roughly. We would see possibly Bitfarms going up 3 to 4x maybe, right? And if they can continue to grow and all that stuff, depending on what Ben also comes out with. And also a little update for with you guys on Ben. I was able to lock down a date, so we are going to be doing a Spaces on Friday. And the tentative date or tentative time right now is 5 p.m. Eastern, which would be 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. So we'll be doing that. We'll be inviting some guest hosts on that as well. I'm working on that right now. Let's see. There's been held complaint around Mars Bitcoin mining in Texas. What do you think can happen? Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you're talking about the Time article and the Time video that Time magazine, Time video that's out there right now. on the site where people are having supposedly health issues because of the noise, right? Mara didn't really comment on it other than they stated that they are looking to, or I don't know if they're looking, no. I think they're planning on implementing immersion cooling in those facilities. And not maybe all the machines there, but partially. So we'll see what happens with that. I mean, we've heard this before with others as well. Riot was in another one as well that we heard this going back a couple months, where there was an article about health issues with local citizens that live by, and then noise, the constant noise and everything else like that. So I don't know, we'll see. If Bitfarms lands a big HPC AI contract, do you see Riot backing off? At that point, maybe, depending where the stock goes. I think we need the stock to be at least $4 to $5 for Riot to possibly back off, if not higher. Let's see. I thought my wolf was going to moon once it hit $6, and then it was all over. Where's Wolf right now? At $5.03. Yeah, I mean, it had a nice run up here. It needs a little healthy pullback. Let's see. Brian asks, would you see Ben steering mining operations back to China if laws permitted? I don't think so. No, I think people are wise now to China, right? That you're not in control there. It's the CCP that's in control there. And if you play foul of them, you're not going to be in good shape. So they did state that they want to go more into the United States. That's kind of where their focus is right now, which I think is good. Right? That would definitely diversify them even more across the regions that they do have. So that would be good. See. KOA asks, what are your thoughts on BTC bullish divergence on the daily RSI? Super excited. What is your optimistic 6-month target for IREN? Thanks for what you do. Good luck on the kitchen remodel. Thanks. Yeah, it's progressing slowly. Kitchen remodel, we got all the electrical done today. Next step is having the drywallers come in, put in the drywall, and then the hardwood floors go in. So we're getting there. As far as Bitcoin, what do I see? I mean, I don't know. On the 1 day, I'm still not liking it, but on the 1 hour chart, I'm liking it. So we'll have to see how that plays out. And then as far as price target for IREN, I mean, IREN right now is, where are they at? They are at 1282. I mean, they've had a really nice run up here as well, but they've been coming down here a little bit. Let's take a look at their chart really quick. So looking at this chart here, this is with the, I don't know, that would be on a daily. Right, I mean, look at that run up here from the bottom here all the way up. This is the Fibonacci retracement lines here. And let me see. Yeah, I mean, well, they bounced off of this Fibonacci 7.786 here, so that might be a good sign there. If this holds, we might be going back up here. But in the next 6 months, if Bitcoin goes up to 100,000, 120,000, we could definitely get at least a 3 to 4x out of IREN, I think. But we'll see. That's kind of where I expect things to go, maybe. Okay. Going back here. How many IREN shares do you have, if you don't mind me asking? Not enough. I probably would have had more if I went in 50-50 on Bitfarms and IREN, but I do have a sizable position in them now. Let's see, what else I got? Any other miners you are eyeing to buy aside from IREN and Bitfarms? Not right now, no. Are miners being revalued based on HPC potential? HUT, for example. Yeah, I think HPC play right now is, the jam, you could say. Everybody's interested in that. Everybody's talking about it. You got a lot of hype around it, and all the companies that are in HPC AI, they're hyping it up, right? So that's kind of what's maybe driving it there. It's kind of the same thing that we saw back in when blockchain and Bitcoin miners and things like that, right? Anybody that had like Riot blockchain, Hive blockchain, companies that had blockchain in them, bounce really hard. So maybe we've seen the same thing here. We'll see if the HPC AI play turns out to be as much as we think it is, right? Let's see, BTC seems to be holding pretty well despite the Mt. Gox situation. Would you agree? Yeah, it's not that bad, right? Well, we got Mt. Gox and you got Germany selling a bunch too, so it's holding up pretty good here. We're still only down like, 20-some odd % down from the top here, so that's kind of what we've seen over the past year. Anytime we have a dip, it's like 20-23% at the most. What else we got here? Thinking into the future when miners peak, I've I am starting to think about rotating a percentage of my portfolio profits into miners with significant HPC plays, core bit digital, where they might continue going up. Thoughts? Yeah, I mean, this cycle is going to be different with those companies, right, that have the HPC AI. What happens if Bitcoin goes down? Will they go down also? I don't know. That we'll have to be witness to that, I guess. Let's see. Grateful Pete says last CORZ execution caused dip and got ate up. Kind of expecting similar with next one. Okay, so if we get a little bit of a dip, it's going to get eaten up. So that wouldn't be too bad either. Let's see. Any new miners that are upcoming and could be a top player? I have to pull in the data on some of the smaller miners. I don't see anyone, doing things like IREN or Cleanspark have done over the last 3 years. But it's going to take time to see if that happens. I don't see anything right now. Is Cleanspark's position on HPC a result of their infrastructure not being capable of supporting HPC? No. Some of their sites maybe, some other sites not, right? So it's going to be a mix. The only thing that you really need for HPC, depending on is the customer, right? The customer kind of dictates what you need. So if you can get a customer that doesn't require, 4 nines uptime or 6 9 uptimes, whatever it is, for like a tier 3, tier 4 data center, and they're happy with a tier 1 data center where they just want to run their large language models, and they don't need inference, they can do it, right? But if you have a customer that requires redundancies and all that stuff where you need a tier 3, tier 4 data center, well, then they do have sites that they could retrofit potentially to add in cooling and things like that to go into it, kind of like what CORZ is doing, right? Let's see. David says, I did add more Bitfarms to day 2. Can't let a good dip go to waste. There you go. Right. Be greedy when others are fearful and be fearful when others are greedy. That's the way I like to play it. Let's see. Monkux is clear in narrative to support price action. No way it would cause the price to drop 25%. Maybe. Hey, Sub Hive is doing a Twitter Spaces tomorrow at 12 Eastern. Do they usually do that, or is something getting announced? No, they usually don't join Twitter Spaces in the past. We've been trying to get them on with the BTC Mining Stock Guy, for like probably several months, right? We've been trying to get them on one of those Saturdays that we had hosted before, and we couldn't get them on. So it's tough to get them on. So I think who's doing that one? It's I'm drawing a blank right now, but I know him. Great guy. They're hosting it. I think I'll maybe join it tomorrow just to listen in. If they invite me to come on, I'll come on. But yeah, it's definitely great to get them on, see what their thoughts are. What else do we have here? Do you see Mara closing at the gap at $14? So let's take a look at Mara here really quick. Let's take a look. Let's see what we got here. You're seeing the $14 gap. Oh, down here. Where's it at? Right there, I think you're talking about maybe. Well, this is $17 gap. Then we got it. Well, this gap got filled. But we do have a gap over here. We're on Mara. So that is at 17. Or where's the recent gap that you're talking about here? $14. That would be, this one over here possibly. That one going all the way back here. I don't think so. Not right now. The way I'm looking at the chart here, we bottomed out here, I think. So I don't think so. Not unless Bitcoin really takes a dive here. That's the only way we get filled. But I don't think that's going to get filled. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. Let's see. Bit Digital selling their mine BTC for ETH. I'd buy if I was Sol. Me? You're talking about Seb or Sol? I'm not sure. Woodsack says, good day to DCA into the miner. So I did. Bit Digital, Wolf, CORZ, very nice. Yeah. Anytime you get a nice dip, it's a good time to buy. Let's see. Hey, Seb, I know you're one of the biggest issue with Wolf was their debt. Do you think they are one of the strongest miners now that they paid off the debt? Do you have any other concerns about them? No, once the debt is paid off, that's great. So that definitely helps them out. I'd like to see what their growth plans are going to be going forward, right? They have really good cost of electricity, so it does make them like one of the, I would say put them in the top maybe 7, 8 miners, right? I don't know if it makes them the top miner there, but we need to see more growth. That's what I like to see. Right now, the debt is gone, which is great. Let's see here. Question, any reason for the big CORZ and IREN drop today? No, profit taking a little bit, needs a little bit of a pullback, I think, for both of those. They've had a nice run up here recently. You need a little bit of pullback on some of these guys. They were also going up when Bitcoin was going down. Bitcoin was going up today, they went down. I think it's okay. Let's see. Especially now that Wolf is debt-free, what do you see as their growth prospects? Well, they stated in there, right? They're increasing their megawatts this year, then they got a pipeline to increase it even more next year. So I expect pretty good growth from them if they can do that, right? The debt is gone. That's great news there. So we'll see what they do. We'll like to see some updates from them as far as buying miners. What are their targets here for the end of this year, if they can improve those? And then what are their targets for like the first half of next year as well? Let's see here. Ben said they had to build infrastructure for HPC and could be ready by end of year. So I guess no contract until then, according to McNally interview. Yeah, I don't think that's the case. I think you could still get a contract in place depending on the customer. Core Scientific is a good example on that. They don't have the facilities either, but they got a huge contract with CoreWeave that they have to build out, retrofit their facilities and things like that. And that's not going to be until sometime next year. So I wouldn't count on that being a negative here. Let's see. David says, don't forget 16 billion of FTX funds will get distributed in the fall. All these people that are getting cash back are probably going to go right back into crypto. Oh, there you go. Yeah. Let's see. Hello, Seb. How does the number of outstanding shares affect the potential multiple of a miner? Bitfarms has roughly 409 million shares. Does it make less likely to multiply? It depends on the stock price where it's at right now, right? Bitfarms is at like $2 and something cents. So I think they can still get at least a 5x here in this cycle, potentially. They'll get them around to $10 or around actually, what would it be, around $12 or something like that. And I think they maybe even do more than that, depending where Bitcoin goes, how well they grow, if they can get right off their back as well, like I keep saying. So, you know, all those things go into effect. But yes, if you have a lot of shares, you have less, because you have to look at the market cap, right? Where could the market cap be for them compared to the other miners that are in similar situation as them with hash rate, all that stuff, operations. But yeah, the more shares you have, the less you're going to see the stock go up potentially compared to somebody that has only like 200 million shares, right? So if you had a company that has 400 million shares and a company that has 200 million shares, stock price, let's just say, is dollar on the 400 million shares and 50 cents on the company that has 200 million shares, right? No, or $2 at that point. So for them to go up the same amount, the shares or the value to be the same, the one that has 200 million shares has to go up more than the one that has the 400 million shares. Let's see. Chester, thank you so much for the super chat. Greatly appreciated. Always appreciate your content. I've learned a lot about Bitcoin mining because of you. I appreciate that. Switch my plan this cycle to 90% invested mostly in the miners, and a few altcoins. Your hard work doesn't go unnoticed. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Let's see. If you had no exposure to miners, what would you look at getting allocation in at which percentage? So if I had no exposure to the miners, what would I look to get into? I would look into some of the top, like top 5, 7 miners potentially. Percentage-wise, you don't know how these guys are going to run. All it takes is one good news story for any of these guys, and they're off to the races, right? So I would say look into like Marathon, Riot, Cleanspark, IREN, Bitfarms, Cypher, Terawulf. And then if you want to go some of the other ones as well, I mean, you got, I would go probably stick with those. I like BitDigital also, but BitDigital is also very asset light. They don't have any assets other than the miners and the HPC servers. If they start coming out, they're purchasing infrastructure at that point, I think that would change the equation a little bit for them as well. Do you think appointing Ben as a CEO keeps the sale of Bitfarms in play? Like he can easily move back to his previous position? Thanks. Do you think that Ben as CEO keeps the sale in actually, I don't know. We'll have to see. That's one of the things I want to ask Ben on the Twitter Spaces or X Spaces on Friday is, you know, what is their plan to defend this hostile takeover from Riot? What are their thoughts on it? If they can share anything, I don't know if they can share anything, but you know, it's one of the things I'm going to ask him. But I think with Ben being appointed there, I think it's a good move. I really like Ben. I think he has great experience. He's been in the industry for a long time. He's very smart, man. So I'm positive that we might see good things from Ben. Time will tell, right? A point from that, Riot is still going to be going after him regardless who the CEO is. They also got a great person in the board seat there, Fannie Phillip, right? We've talked about her before. So there's a lot of good things happening here. So, I mean, we have the hearing coming up in middle of July 21st, 22nd, I think it is, with Riot and Bitfarms going to the tribunal there. We'll see what comes of it. I'm not sure. Hopefully Bitfarms can win that, and maybe if they win that at that point, maybe Riot backs off. We'll see. What price point do you see Bitfarms going when everything clears up with Riot situation? Well, I would think it would go up high from where it is right now. I think it's still way undervalued from where it should be, right? It should be at least a 2x from where it is right now, to be fair, compared to the other miners. But when it all clears up, I expect it to go up much higher. With Bitcoin price especially going up higher in the next 12 to 18 months, I would say maybe not, I don't know, 18 months, but maybe 12 to, I'll just say 12 months. I would expect them to go up much higher. And if they can obviously execute on their growth. Let's see. Okay. Hi, Seb. Do you have any information on the relationship between Terawulf and Beowulf? Are there any concerns, issues? Beowulf is owned by, I believe, Paul Prager, the CEO of Terawulf, I believe. Someone correct me if I'm wrong on that. But I think that's the connection there with those two. So that's why when they say that they have access to additional megawatts potentially, that's where they're probably going to be coming from, is some of these sites that Beowulf maybe owns. So that's kind of what I'm seeing there. Let's see. Ryan, thank you so much for the super chat. Kitchen Remodel Fund. Let's see here. What else do we have here? Anybody else willing to chip in by buying a 99 super sticker here on YouTube? Thanks, guys. Show us a little love. Drywall sheets are expensive. That's not as expensive as new cabinets and appliances. Oh my gosh, that stuff has gone off the charts. But thank you, Ryan. I appreciate it. Let's see. Hello, Seb. Sorry if this has been asked before. With the June results, do you think wise to DCA on Riot? Not financial advice. Thank you. I think that Riot is also kind of undervalued from where they really should be. But that is based on them improving operations, uptime, all that stuff, right? So if we see the operation update for July, and it's much better, I think that would be maybe a good time to DCA if you can. Because, I mean, right now the stock is still not doing that great. Riot has been on I don't know what's up with Riot stock. I know it's their operations mostly, but take a look at this here really quick. I mean, they were up at $18 here just in February. They've come all the way down to $7 something in April. They went back up to 12, and now they're trading like sideways here between these two lines here. So between 10.30 and like $9, something like that. But yeah, they've just been underperforming all the other miners here recently, which is quite sad to see, actually. You know, I had high hopes for Corsicana facility with them, and then I still have high hopes for them with Corsicana, and I think they get much better uptime there, but we'll see. Let's see what else we got here. Okay, my exit plan is estimated to be sometime during Q4. Do you think we will hit our all-time highs during this time, similar time frame as last halving post, 8 to 10 months? Actually, if you look at the last halving event, it wasn't until we had the halving event in 2020, we peaked in 2021, right? So that was basically like almost 18 months out, roughly, from that. Yeah, because we had it in May of last year, or May of 2020 was the halving event, and then we peaked in November of 2021. So I don't think so. I think we might see some selling at the end of Q4 with companies reallocating funds and taking profits for the end of the year, things like that. Let's see here. Ed, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Super chat. Appreciate it. Thank you. Let's see. PTC almost green. Be nice. Hi, analyst at HC Wainwright expressed confidence that Ben Gagnon's appointment has alleviated a major concern regarding the stock. I've been saying that for a long time. We can get him in, that'd be fantastic. I mean, he just has so much experience in this industry. It's not even funny. So I thought, you know, I talked about this back in May. I said, Bitfarms has somebody on their doggone payroll already that would, I think, make a great CEO, and they finally did it. So maybe I should be on the board on there, but I think I need a lot more shares. I need to have like as many shares as Riot does. But yeah, okay. So I think we're done with the questions here. Appreciate everybody here that provided a super chat. Thank you for that. I appreciate it greatly. And then we'll see what happens tomorrow, right? Tomorrow we'll look at some other metrics as well in the miners. We'll look at maybe the institution side of things, where our institutions flowing into, where they're flowing out of, things like that. And we'll see what else transpires tomorrow. Tomorrow's Wednesday. Yeah. I'll join probably the interview on X for Aiden from Hive. That's happening tomorrow, I think at 11 o'clock my time, Central Standard Time, I think. So we'll see what he has to say, right? I think that's a great company also. Hive is a very good company. They just don't have a lot of growth for this year, which I think is why the stock isn't doing that well. But I'd love to hear what he has to say, what his thoughts are on growth going forward and things like that. All right, so that is it. Again, thank you so much for coming in. Thank you so much for asking the questions and for the super chats and all that stuff. Thank you to all the Patreon members. You guys help support this channel. Let me do what I can do to run the numbers for you guys, provide you guys with all the data as best as I can. Okay, greatly appreciate it all. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Until then, have a great night.